There you go. Pick it away, Anna.
Hi! Welcome to Misscliks D&D Dungeon World.
No.
We had a theme song, did you? But we do. And I am the GM this week, which is a new experience for me. And I am going to be hoping for lots of love and help and compassion from you guys. And luckily, Dungeon World is a role-playing game that is focused on narrative and playing make-believe together, so this will be lots of fun. So for all of you who are coming in and are planning to go, what is this that I'm watching? It's Dungeon World. It's a role-playing game, and the mods will tell you that too. In the meantime, I would love to introduce our guest. You may recognize Jen. Live in Pink is one of our regular cast members for Misscliks D&D. You've probably seen Avison, Stephanie Powell, who is our behind-the-scenes person most of the time, but sometimes comes out and plays with us as well. And then we have two guests. First of all, you may have seen her before in a couple previous episodes. Jess Brohard, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing really well. How about you?
Very good. What do you do if people haven't seen you or known you before?
If people haven't seen me yet, what I do is host events and videos in the gaming and esports scenes, and I also stream on Twitch. Dota 2 is sort of my little area of specialty, so if anyone out there plays Dota and watched any of DreamHack Winter, I was the Dota 2 stage host for that, and yeah. I always forget where I'm going to end my sentence, and then I just kind of trail off.
Yeah,
so,
it's good. It's like giving yourself affirmation,
Yeah.
What I said is true.
Yeah, that
Good.
is a true statement. So.
Yes. And then we're also joined by the lovely and talented Rachel Seltzer Please Querico, aka Hogwarts student. How are you doing, Rachel?
Just a regular wizard today.
Oh, just a regular wizard. I'm sorry, you're right. And who are you? What do you do, Rachel?
I am Seltzer. I host esports events also. I actually just got back yesterday. I was in Sweden. We did the Bio House Cup. It was really awesome, and it's pretty funny because I beat Frodo in a show match, and people have been nonstop ragging on him. So I just want to say that it was a contest to make the worst deck, and his team won. I didn't win that one really, but thank you guys. I'm really happy to be here, and this is gonna be awesome.
Yeah. We're glad to have you. So this is a one-off. This is not a continuation of any campaign we've done before. We're filling in a week where we lost our normal DM, Neil. So #blame Neil. Feel free to tweet that as much as you feel necessary. And we're going to get right into playing. The thing with Dungeon World is that we create the world together and we learn about our characters together. So we are going to start from the very beginning, and you guys are going to kind of be a part of that. So first, if I'm not mistaken, the best thing to do will be to start looking at characters and classes and what kind of classes we want to play. So I've given you all the character sheets so you can look over some of the special abilities. The things that your characters will do differently is they'll have different special abilities, they'll have different stats, they'll have different damage rolls, things like that. So if you want to be, I know Rachel has already said she wants to be a wizard. So for example, she will have spells to cast, but she may not be as strong, she may not be a great fighter. Does anyone else looked at those and decided what kind of characters they might want to be?
I might play a bard.
Okay.
Just because I actually can't sing at all, and I assume that I would get to sing if I did that.
Okay.
On stream, can I?
Yes,
when I do a healing song, can I be like, "Yeah, you're healed," and that's my song?
Absolutely.
Okay,
it would be
then
almost
I'm a bard.
required that you would sing. So
Good.
That's great. Okay, so we've got a bard.
I apologize in advance for everyone listening who has
That's
ears.
Great. And all right, what about you, Jen and Stephanie? Do you have any ideas on what kind of characters you would like to be?
I think I want to be a fighter.
Okay, awesome. Fighter, and we already have your names. Again, since this is a one-off, we actually had our designer just pick names for us. So we have already been named. And let's see. Okay, I'm pulling up fighter for you, Jen. Awesome. Rachel is a wizard. And Stephanie, what do you think you're going to be?
I think I will be a paladin.
A paladin. Okay, pull up that character sheet. What do you like about the paladin?
I didn't get that far yet. I haven't
Because when you're a paladin, you're my pal.
I always like being able to do a lot of damage, and I think I tend to not pick based on that, more as by what I think is pretty. So in this opportunity, I think I'm going with the one I feel might do the most damage for me. That's the
Awesome.
goal, at least.
Okay. So we've got a fighter, a paladin, a wizard, and a bard. That's quite a group. That's great. Let's go through, and I mean, the greatest part of Dungeon World, in my opinion, is kind of building the characters. So I think what we'll do is maybe build all the way through Jess and Rachel's characters, and then Stephanie and Jen, since you guys are more familiar with kind of filling out character sheets, if you guys can kind of fill along with us, and then we'll talk about your alignment and bonds and things just as questions afterwards.
Sure.
Does that sound good?
How do you want us to pick our stats?
Well, in Dungeon World, we have the stats in that document. It says assign these scores to your stats.
Oh, that's
above
right.
Your strength, dex, con, int, whiz, and cha.
That's right.
So,
So it's under our class.
yeah. So let's start with just the bard, since you're on the top of my sheet. So if you want to pull up your character sheet in Roll20, actually maybe both in Roll20 as well as in that PDF I gave you, as you'll see, you have scores right above. Well, you've got your name, you've got your look, and you've got scores for strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. And then you've got little numbers above there where you can assign any of those numbers to those areas. So you can be super smart, you can be super strong, whatever you want. But it's important to look down below and see what kind of abilities your bard is going to have, and whether there's anything that you really want to make sure that you have high rolls for. So as a bard, it looks like you're really going to want to think about charisma, because you're going to be able to use that for your arcane art moves. And of course, as a bard, you're going to want to be singing to people and convincing people of heroic deeds and that kind of stuff. So that's probably going to be important to you. So knowing that, do you have any idea how you want to lay out your stats right now?
Not really.
That's okay. Do you want me to go through it with you, or do you want to think about it?
If you could
Okay.
like hold my hand.
Yes, totally.
Walk me through this. That would be fantastic.
Totally can. And I've never done a bard either, so we're going to read along through this together.
Oh,
So-
you've never done a bard.
I mean, you know. As far as I can tell, and see, I'm really nervous because actually the creator of the game is in this chat right now, and so he's going to be like, he's going to know when I do all these things wrong. But I love you, Adam. Thank you for making such a good game. I think charisma is going to be your most important thing as a bard. So I would put 16 there as your charisma.
Okay,
And
so
so
I
what
literally just type 16 into that box.
At the top of the box, right under where it says the full word charisma.
Okay.
And actually, are you doing this in Roll20?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna look there. Yeah, so right under where it says charisma, then it automatically spawned right there 2 for cha. That means that that's your modifier.
Oh, I see that.
So whenever
Okay.
you're rolling for charisma, it's gonna give you a +2 modifier. That makes
Tight.
sense. Okay.
Yeah.
So then you've also got wisdom, intelligence, constitution, dexterity, and strength. So you want to think about, okay, do I want to be really good in a fight? Do I want to be able to withstand a lot? Do I want to be able to be really smart and figure things out? Do I want to have a really good kind of common sense? So the difference between intelligence and wisdom is kind of hard to understand, but basically wisdom is a lot more of that like sense of what's going on around you, kind of the common sense understanding of the world, and intelligence is a little more like your basic smarts, like can you figure something out kind of thing.
Okay.
So knowing that, how do you want to build this person? Do you want to make them kind of a dexterous fighter bard, or do you want to make them somebody that's going to be kind of hiding back in the shadows and figuring traps out and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, more of the latter, because I know we have the fighter, we have a paladin, so we've got like plenty of tang going on. So I feel as though I don't really need to be directly fighting. I would like to stand back with my like little guitar, singing Wonderwall and like healing you guys and giving you guys buffs and stuff like that.
Awesome. And you know, you've seen the basic moves too, so keep that in mind, because when you know you have intelligence, that means, for example, if you're going to defy danger somewhere, then you're going to maybe defy that danger with quick thinking or with using charm and social grace, as opposed to with powering through or by enduring. So you're kind of choosing how you're going to approach problems. So did you say intelligence was going to be your next phase?
Either intelligence or wisdom. What do you recommend here? Because I just am not sure which. Like, I understand the difference between them, but I just don't know which one you think would be more helpful given like the rest of our party's makeup.
Well, why don't we make you? It sounds like you're kind of going to be this like clever person in the background.
Okay.
So let's focus on maybe.
That'll be a nice change.
Yeah. Let's focus on maybe your intelligence, and you've got plenty of stats that are good, you know. So you've got a 16, 15, 13, 12. So you can choose maybe 15 intelligence, 13 wisdom. But remember that now you're building someone who's a bit squishy. So you may want to put, if you're okay with just being super kind of a little spindly hipster weakling who's singing
what other way
in the
is
background. That's okay. That's okay. So maybe we want to put 12 as your con just to make you a little bit more, you can kind of withstand a little bit more.
I'm wayfish.
Yeah, wayfish. That's perfect. You belong in the grunge era in Seattle.
Yes, heroin chic.
Exactly.
Cordelia, who doesn't eat a lot, but is really good at singing.
Yeah, you know, you have a complicated relationship with your body. And yeah. So let's put what did we do? We did 13 wisdom. Let's do 12 constitution.
Okay.
And then would you rather be just a little bit more agile or just a little bit more strong?
A little more agile, I think.
Okay. So let's do 9 for your dexterity and 8 for your strength.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not going to be like bashing people with a flute or something. So I don't really need that much strength.
Awesome. So your stats are all filled out. That is fantastic. And we already know your name, which is Cordelia. Awesome. And now looking at the sheet, kind of some of the ideas for what you might look like. You can have knowing eyes, fiery eyes, joyous eyes. Up here on the top right, there's the look. You don't have to go by those, but they're good suggestions. Do you have any idea of what you might look like?
Oh, can I have fancy hair and a stylish cap, or is that like too much?
You can have whatever you like in ANNArchy world.
Well, I need
glasses.
Yes, fancy hair, a stylish cap rather.
Okay.
And hipster glasses.
So, when you say fancy hair and a stylish cap, are we talking like Hunger Games bourgeoisie style, like super big and colorful, or are we talking like Nirvana style, like slouchy beanie and like, you know, multicolored rainbow hair and hipster glasses?
No, more like something like sleek, but then with like a couple like braids where you wouldn't expect them.
Okay.
Randomly braided throughout my hair, you know?
What color's your
hair? Maybe just something pretty simple like brown, I think.
Okay.
Just some brown hair. Yeah. But then lots of weird braids.
Okay. And what's
and then
the
like it's one of those tiny caps that sometimes you would see women in the 20s wearing to like funerals with like the veil going over my face. So it's like a little bit mysterious over my eyes.
Like a birdcage veil?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the one. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Awesome. And then as far as like what you're wearing, are you dressed finely? Are you, in traveling or adventuring clothes? Do you look like you paid a lot of money for your clothes?
No, I'm not like a stuck-up bard. I'm not like one of those bards whose parents just paid for everything their entire life. Like, like I made my music.
Not a private school bard.
No, exactly. Like I earned my own way in this world through my musical talents, which you'll find out about very shortly.
Good. You deserve it.
I would say traveling clothes.
Okay.
I'm dressed for adventure and I'm dressed for functionality over fashion.
Okay, cool. And we already talked about kind of your wayfish body. Is there anything else about your persona? Like if I walked up to you and I saw Cordelia, would I be like, wow, she has such a something about her, or her face was so, or she made me feel so, Was there anything like that about how she looks?
Just a slight air of mystery, I would say.
Oh, mysterious. Okay, cool.
Yes, very slightly. But like leaves you wanting to get to know her better kind of thing.
Okay, so invitingly mysterious.
Yes, that's a great way to describe it. Yeah.
I'm going to put that in your my notes of who you are.
You're already like nailing this DMing thing. So
I'm good at playing make-believe. It's the numbers that I'm not good at.
That's what you got to do, I guess.
Okay, invitingly mysterious. I put those notes somewhere and they exist. Okay, anyways, let's get back to the rest of your character sheet. And like I said, guys, we won't go through all of this with everyone in case you don't like the character creation part so much. We'll let Stephanie and Jen tell us about theirs instead of me asking all these detailed questions. But Rachel, we will go through it with you. So now moving down to right below where we put all of your stats, You see the damage. It shows that your damage is d6, so that's already decided for you. So you can just put 6 in your damage on roll 20. So whenever you damage something, you're going to roll a d6, and that's how
Put d6.
Yeah.
Not just 6, just d6.
Okay.
Okay. Which I think I had already done.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then your armor will come back to, and then your HP is going to be 6 plus your constitution, your total constitution. So for you, we put 12 in constitution, so your HP is going to be 18. So that's your total, your current HP.
Okay. Is it an issue if it claims that my HP is out of 12? Like, I don't understand what the slash
Yeah, I don't
means.
know why it's doing that.
Okay, well, ignore the 12. My HP is 18.
Why would it do that? Huh. I don't know. But yours is 18, so just remember that it's 18.
Okay.
All right, so moving on down your character sheet. Now you have alignment. You can be good, you can be neutral, or you can be chaotic. You can't be evil because apparently bards are not allowed to be evil, so too bad for you if you wanted to be. Are you good, neutral, or chaotic? Or do you want me to explain a little bit about the difference between them?
Well, I kind of know the difference. Actually, yeah, if you want to brush me up on them, though.
So what's cool is that it gives you specific things to tell you about what a bard would do if they were good or if they were neutral.
That would be helpful.
So right here, good is, you would always be singing in order to help someone. Whenever you sing, it's because you want to help. Whereas if you're neutral, you just do it because you don't want things to get tense or conflictual. You'll sing because things are just too heavy right now and you just need everybody to chill out and just sing a little bit, okay? So that's if you're neutral. If you're chaotic, it's because you want to spur others to significant and unplanned decisive action. So that means you want to make somebody act. So if you're like, oh, you're just, you're a stick in the mud. I want you to go out there and do something with your life. And then you're chaotic. Okay, cool. So mark chaotic on your alignment, which I think you just
do. I just type that in?
Right below alignment where it says name, just go ahead and type that. And then right under where it says move, you can add, in case it's going to help you, you can add the little description that you spur others to significant and unplanned decisive action. You can add notes there about what that means to you as well if you want.
All right.
Cool. And then you get to choose between elf and human for what race you would like to be.
Okay, what are the differences in terms of what impact they would actually have on the gameplay?
Mm-hmm. So when you're an elf, if you enter an important location, which you can decide if it's important or not, you can ask the DM or the GM for one fact from the history of that location. So if you're an elf, you're old and wizened and you know many things about the world, so you can be like, hey, Anna, what's something I know about this place? And then you will know that. If you're a human, when you first enter a civilized settlement, someone who respects the custom of hospitality to minstrels will take you in as their guest. So whenever you enter a civilization, they'll be like, a bard, come dine with me, share my mead and bread, that kind of stuff.
I'll be a human.
Okay, cool. So mark that down on your Roll20 sheet as well. And also mark down what that means, because I'm going to need you to remind me if you go into a civilization that you're like, hey, someone wants to take me in, and then we'll remember that you can go stay in someone's house. Okay. So let's skip bonds for now and do those last, because those are kind of my favorite once you've figured out your character. But let's move down to the second sheet of your character stuff where it says gear. Okay. Your load is 9 plus strength, or STR, which is your modifier. So that means that's how many, let's say, pounds you can carry, how many units of weight you can carry. You can choose on the right many things that weigh an amount. And then on the left, you can choose one instrument, and it doesn't weigh anything for you because it's like part of your being. Okay.
Oh, okay.
You can choose any one of those things. If you need some time to think about it, that's a really, personal decision. So we can wait until you decide if you want.
Yeah. Could we all be thinking about that if we could come back to that or something?
And then the same thing on the right. Do you want to think about what kind of armor and clothes and all that kind of stuff you have? Look over that list and come back to it later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because so now I can carry 8.
You can carry 9 plus...
Well, my strength modifier is -1.
Yeah, okay, so
right?
8. Yes.
So I can't, okay. So it's kind of a tough decision for me.
Yes, so you have to pick and choose a little bit.
Okay. So I'll be thinking about that, and then if, while you're helping Rachel create her character, I guess.
Perfect. Okay, so you go ahead and look over those. We'll leave your character sheet for now. Also, be sure to check out your starting moves. And in fact, I'm going to go over them really quick just for everyone who's watching and for me, because I don't know the bard's starting moves. So it looks like with arcane art, you can weave a performance into a basic spell. Okay, so you can actually sing so well that you create magic. And you can heal, you can do some damage, forward to damage, which I need to remember exactly how that works. Hashtag new GM. You can clear an enchantment, or you can do a really complicated thing that I'm not going to read on stream. But you can basically cast spells with your...
I can basically buff someone else's something that they do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Excuse me. I got like dust caught in my throat. Okay. Bardic lore. You can choose an area of expertise. So this is another thing you might want to look at and kind of think about. You can choose things that you know about. And then when you first encounter one of those things, then you can ask me any question about it and I will answer it truthfully. So for example, if you choose the dead and the undead, and we encounter a tomb, you can be like, hey Anna, what do I know about this place? Or if you encounter some zombies, hey, what do I know about these zombies? And I will tell you.
Okay.
And then I may ask you kind of what song or legend or tale you learned that from. So you get to kind of tell me about your history and what you learned.
Okay.
Then a really cool thing about the bard is, I remember this from when I played, the charming and open. So when you speak frankly with someone, quote unquote, that's your move. You can ask the player a question from the list below and they must answer it truthfully. Then they can ask you a question from the list, which you must answer truthfully. So it's a give and take.
Truth or dare.
Yeah. It's like truth or dare. And you can incite truth or dare whenever you want, except no dare, just truth.
Oh, okay.
So for example, you could ask, Willow, how can I get you to give me that pet bunny rabbit that you have because I really want it? And she could say, you would have to kill me. And then she would get to ask you, why do you want my little pet bunny rabbit? And you would say, because I'm jealous of everything you have. Okay, so whatever it is, you have to ask. Answer truthfully.
It's a really good example.
Okay, and then a port in the storm is just whenever you get to a civilized settlement that you visited before, you can ask me what's changed in that place because you're really aware of your surroundings. So for example, you left a town and you came back to a town, you can be like, hey, what's different here? And I'll have to tell you a little bit about it. Okay? Cool. So go ahead and look over those. We'll get to bonds last because I want to introduce all the other characters before we do bonds. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Okay.
Are we starting at level 1, Anna? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Because I'm not ready to do advanced moves.
It's okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Rachel, are you ready?
I think so. I was at page 49.
Yes. Page 40 what?
9.
Oh, I'm looking in the PDF.
Oh, well, maybe. I'm looking at page 21 on the character sheets PDF for your character sheet, but I don't know how pages work. Are you seeing the one that says the wizard at the bottom and it has places for strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, blah, blah, blah?
Nope, let me go there. You said page 29?
21.
21.
I can link you to it if you want.
Yeah, no.
Got it?
No. Making moves? Crap.
That's at the top, I think. Here, let me link you.
Yeah, do that thing.
Okay, so check out that PDF, and we're going for your character sheet. The one you're looking at, I think, is the player handbook, which is great.
Oh, yeah, that's
But there's a lot of more complicated stuff in there to think about, and this is just building your character.
Got it.
Okay. So, same thing. You've got these dexterity, strength, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma stuff up here at the top. And you've got your stats up here. You can use 16, 15, 13, 12, 9, 8. What we want to do is look down again at your starting moves and some of the stuff that you already do and see if there's anything that we need to be aware of that you want to make strong. Usually for a wizard, it's going to be intelligence, and it looks like when you cast a spell, you are going to be rolling plus your intelligence modifier. So probably that's where you want your highest score to go. Does that sound good?
Sure. So what am I putting in there?
So right below where it says intelligence, you're going to put 16. And that'll give you a modifier. It'll automatically spawn underneath of 2. So that means whenever you roll plus your INT, then it's going to give you plus 2. Then you can kind of think, all right, what else do I want this wizard to be like? If he's really intelligent, or she, excuse me, is really intelligent, then that will mean that in the case of basic moves, I can do things with quick thinking, or if they.
So my next one's definitely going to be dexterity then.
Okay, nice.
I'm a wizard gypsy.
Ooh, wizard gypsy, I like it. Okay, so you got 15 dexterity. Very interesting. All right, what's next? Do you have any other ideas that you want?
Let's go with, I got probably about middle charisma, so let's do that one.
Okay, cool. So you're a gypsy who can weave interesting tales then, it sounds like.
Now I'm kind of like a street rat thief.
Ah, okay. Well, charisma means that you can get people to kind of do what you want them to do, or like you're pleasant to be around.
What is like be a bully jerk? Is that strength or constitution?
Well, you can be a bully jerk with good charisma. You can just kind of like intimidate people into doing what you want them to do and use your charisma. Your charisma can be scary, I suppose. All right, cool. So we've got charisma, we've got intelligence, we've got dexterity. So you've got 12, 9, and 8 to assign to your strength, constitution, and wisdom. Where do you want to put those? So let's see, you're a wizard gypsy, and you're kind of a bully. So are you really aware when you walk around? Are you like super aware of your surroundings and you understand the world really well, or are you just really kind of focused on yourself and like don't even notice what's going on?
Nah, I'm pretty streetwise. Where does that go?
Okay, so wisdom, probably you'd have a good level of wisdom. And then if someone, if you were under duress, like you were a prisoner, do you feel like you would last a really long time? Okay, so maybe you want to make your constitution like really low. So make that maybe your 8. And then that leaves strength, which would be your 9, I think.
16, 15, 13, 12, 9, 8?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's cool. Now that.
Good. Okay, you're all set. Perfect. And it looks like I see that you've already written your alignment. You've got chaotic neutral, but you can't be chaotic. So do you want to just be neutral?
I suppose.
You can be good, neutral, or evil.
I'll be neutral.
Okay, so what that means, if you want to put this in your notes, if you're neutral, what you really truly want most is to discover something about a magical mystery. So start thinking about what magical mystery you're trying to discover. If you're a bully, maybe it's, maybe that's why you're such a bully, because you're so wrapped up in figuring out what is the true answer to this mystery. Are you an elf or are you a human?
I am a human.
Okay. So you can also choose one cleric spell. So if you want to look at the cleric sheet, which is in the same PDF, maybe go look at it in a little bit. But if you scroll alphabetically back up, you can choose one cleric spell and you can cast it as if it were a wizard spell. So you just get like a bonus, kind of. All right, so we've got that all figured out. Your damage, as you can see, is going to be D4. So that's already picked for you. If you want to add that in your sheet, right at the top left where it says damage, write D4. And we know that your HP is 4 plus your constitution, and your constitution is 9, so you've got 13 HP. So not too bad. I can add that for you.
Cool.
Cool. All right, so we also have your starting moves. You have a spell book. You start out with 3 first level spells in your spell book. So you have all these spells that are down here on the 3rd page of your character sheet. And you'll probably want to look over those, but you can do all sorts of things. Like magic missile is a really popular one where you just shoot magic at people and that does some damage. You can detect magic if you want to know that something is magical. You can pick that as a spell. You can charm someone so they count you as a friend until you prove otherwise. Or, you can just walk up to someone and say, "You are my friend." And they're like, "Oh yeah, we're buddies, dude." So you can pick 3 of those first level spells and put them in your spell book. Your spell book weighs 1 unit of weight. So remember that when we go over your things you're carrying. And then as soon as you gain a level, which we might not do during this campaign, but if you did, you could get a new spell. When you spend uninterrupted time in quiet contemplation, so when you study your spell book for about an hour, you prepare new spells from your spell book, and wait a minute. So you can prepare. I don't know if I understand this correctly. If anybody else does, let me know. But you can do up to your own level +1. So that means, Jen, you're the wizard. Does that mean that she can do 3 spells or like 4 spells? So if she had magic missile, charm person, and
For Dungeon World?
yeah.
Well, you said her own level +1 would just be 2.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Duh.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So she can pick 2 spells that she can memorize at a time.
Mhm.
Okay. So if you, for example, pick 2 spells and you memorize them, and then you're like about to go into battle and you're like, crap, I really don't want detect magic right now. I would rather have magic missile. You can spend an hour studying and you can prepare 2 different spells. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you can't always have all of the spells in your spell book at your disposal. You have to like mentally prepare and like memorize them and have them at the ready. And then you can spend them and then you can kind of go back and restudy, if that makes sense. That sound good?
Yes.
You also have cantrips, which I have never worked with, but let's look at them. They are, again, on that 3rd page on the top where it says cantrips. Every time you prepare spells, you don't have to select them or count them toward your allotment of spells. So these you get anytime, all the time. And you can have light, unseen servant, and prestidigitation.
Prestidigitation?
Yeah.
Yes.
Light just is light. Unseen servant can like move things around and carry things for you up to a certain amount of weight. And I've never read prestidigitation, but let's look at it. You perform minor tricks of true magic. You touch an item as part of the casting. You can make cosmetic changes to it, like clean it, soil it, cool it, warm it, flavor it, or change its color. That sounds like that spell or that song. If you cast the spell without touching an item, you can instead create minor illusions no bigger than yourself. They're crude and clearly illusions. They won't fool anyone, but they might entertain them. So you can make like a little light show. You can throw a little rave, whatever, whenever you want, because that's your cantrip. You don't have to yeah, exactly.
Already got me.
Yeah, you guys can perform together. You can have like a dubstep concert. That'll be great. Okay, so each time you prepare spells, you also prepare your cantrips, and they don't take any slots. Okay. When you cast a spell, you roll plus your intelligence modifier, so it's good that your intelligence is high. And then we'll talk about how moves work and stuff. But if you don't quite succeed, you're gonna have to pick one of these bullet points. So if you don't quite succeed, I'm gonna ask you what happens. You're gonna have to tell me about these, but we'll come back to that. If you're in the middle of a spell and you are about to be attacked, you can stop doing that spell immediately and use the energy of its dissipation to deflect the attack. So the spell ends and you subtract its level from the damage done to you. So you may not completely block it, but you're using the level of the spell to kind of take some of the oomph out of the attack. So if I shoot you and it's going to do 3 damage to you, you can be like, oh, spell, and it'll only do 2 damage to you.
Aha.
And then ritual, when you draw on a place of power to create a magical effect, tell the GM what you're trying to achieve. Ritual effects are always possible, but the GM will give you 1 to 4 of the following conditions. It's going to take a long time. First, you have to do something. You'll need help from someone, blah, 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 blah. So a place of power, I'm not even sure how that works. So I'm going to have to look that up during the break. But in case we get to a place, or we can make it up. If we get to a place with a magical confluence and you want to do a ritual to create a sheep, then we'll talk about it when we get there, I guess.
We can talk about creating a sheep now?
Yeah, exactly. Whenever you want to create a sheep, we'll talk about it, Rachel. Okay. So again, same as Jess, you've got gear down here. Your load is 7 plus your strength, which your strength is -1. So again, you can only carry 6 weight. So you've got to pick and choose what kind of things you would like to carry with you. And we'll let you do that while we go over the other two's sheets. But before we do that, I want to hear a little bit about what you look like. So you said you're this gypsy bully wizard. Up here on the top right, you have a look that could be haunted eyes, sharp eyes, different kinds of hair. Tell us a little bit about what you look like.
All right. Well, I think I misspoke when I said I'm a bully. I'm more thrifty. I look out for myself. I look pretty normal. I got some like ratty blonde hair and kind of skinny, real sinewy, lanky, but tiny.
Okay.
Tiny hands.
Tiny. Like, how tall are you?
I'm like maybe 5'4".
Specifically
like,
tiny hands, though.
Specifically itty bitty
Very
hands.
tiny.
So like I'll walk up to you if I'm someone who doesn't know you and I'll be like, wow, what tiny hands you have. Like they're noticeably
I
tiny.
mean, not like freakishly tiny, but
Like,
like
hey,
you know,
will you hold this
cleverly-
piece so it looks bigger?
Like when you hold a cup, you have to hold it with 2 hands.
Yeah, probably.
Do you remember
You're
that
really
fast
clever with
food
the guys.
commercial?
Burger King with the tiny
Yeah.
hands.
Is it like that?
Creepy.
Okay, cool. So you kind of look unkempt, it sounds like. A little
Yeah,
bit.
you know, like I got that like you know, you're talking about some heroin chic. I got that like street rat chic going on, kind of like the tattered clothes. Still got my wizard robe, lots of little pockets.
Okay, but you don't look bad then. You got like a boho thing going on. It's like kind of cute on you.
Yeah, it works for me.
Okay. What color's your hair?
It's like a ratty dirty blonde.
Ratty dirty blonde. Okay, cool. And you're female?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And what kind of you said you were wearing like tattered clothing. Is it like a wizard's robe that you're wearing?
Yeah, I got kind of like a stealthy spy thing on underneath.
Okay.
You know, it'll like work on dudes and stuff, but over top I mostly just wear the cloak.
Okay. Awesome. Is there anything else that if I walked into a room and saw you, I would really notice about you, or are you kind of just nondescript as a rule?
I mean, you probably wouldn't feel immediate. You know, you would keep an eye on me because I look like the shifty type, but I can be really charming and cute. And you'd be like, oh, she's so cute, and then I'll steal all your stuff.
Ah, okay. So kind of a thieving wizard, it sounds like.
Yeah,
You're
for
like
sure.
really into taking what's not yours.
Basically, the name of the wind stole Barnacle from me.
Ah. Okay. Okay. All right, awesome. So again, we'll come back to your bonds, but do take a look at your gear and figure out what you want to carry. We'll come back to that. But in the meantime, Stephanie or Jen, who wants to go first and tell me about your characters?
I can go, but I'm missing the look. I guess
Okay.
I'll improvise.
Okay, I'll ask
Okay.
you questions and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm pretty far along. It's not too bad. Okay, so...
I'm done, Jen, if you want me to go.
Can I give you my stats?
Yeah, sure.
But I can go, I guess.
Okay, go.
Strength 16,
Okay.
Dexterity 15.
I have your character sheet, so I can see
Oh,
it.
you
Just
can
go ahead and
see
read
it
them
right
off.
now?
Yeah.
It worked?
Uh-huh.
Sick!
Yeah, it's really cool.
I was like,
Roll20's a
I
pretty
Here,
cool
I can
program.
actually switch because I'm also a GM and I can
you
show
already
them
see everything I wrote. I probably didn't have to
Jen's.
put everything in the right place, but it's okay.
Well, there we
I'll
go.
work with this.
I'm showing it on stream, so hopefully there's no bad. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so I guess let's forget the stats because it's not the most interesting part. So my character is going for like the strength, dexterity, constitution type of person, like super
Okay.
fightery attributes.
Nice. Okay.
Not high wisdom nor charisma because my character is a little boy with few experience in the world, so he has no wisdom. That's really charismatic, so he's a little bit of a whiner. So he's neutral. He just wants to defeat the worthy opponents. He wants to like prove himself to the world. So he's a 13-year-old boy with a really big fighting spirit. He doesn't like new things. So he like what his family taught him. Like let's say his mom taught him to like broccoli, he would like broccoli. But if she never told him like, oh, strawberries are nice too, he'd be like, ew, what's that fruit? Like I hate it. It's gross.
Okay.
But then if he tries it and someone convinces him it's good, he'd be like, okay, maybe it's okay. Then he's arrogant, a little bit annoying, quite immature. It's a human. So once per battle, I can reroll a single damage roll. Turn 2. Mine
Okay.
or someone else's. What else should we go over? I didn't do my bonds yet.
I changed your health because Anna, you said health was it's the full Constitution number plus.
So
Yeah,
Whatever
hers
it
is
says.
10 plus constitution.
So you're 23, Jen, not.
damn.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you got a lot of health.
Yeah.
Thank you, little boy.
No, you're right. You're right. You're totally right. I googled it to make sure it wasn't the modifier.
Yeah, well,
It's
I
not.
learned that it's whenever it's spelled out.
Right.
It's always
That's
the
exactly
full
what I
amount.
read. Yeah.
Cool.
So I have scale armor, a shield. My signature weapon, I guess, is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The big hammer.
Ooh.
It's ornate, closed range with hooks and spikes, and glows at bears.
Whenever there's bears near it,
Yeah,
it glows.
it has to
Okay.
glow.
Cool.
And,
So
I
you're like a really big 13-year-old then. You got
Yeah.
this warhammer and you got
Yeah.
16 strength. So you're like a giant. So do you get mistaken for being a different age?
Yeah, so that's why I look probably a little bit slow.
Especially next to Barnacle's tiny hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Okay.
He's like a really big boy.
Oh my god.
And he probably likes to be called Big Boy too.
Wow.
He likes that.
And he has a really big hammer, but it's kind of a weird,
What's-
childish, like, our hammer. It's like a child wanted to be impressive, but it's not really that well made. He, like, put the ornaments himself, and he's like, ah! But it looks a bit stupid.
Okay.
People could laugh at it easily.
All right.
And it glows
Cool.
at bears, because he doesn't like bears.
And then, as far as like what gear you're carrying, did you already figure that out?
Yeah, so I have a scale armor,
Okay.
but he made it look like a Ninja Turtle scale.
Ninja Turtles. Okay.
Turtle
so you
shell.
have armor 3, right?
It's 2 armor, and then shield 1 armor.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And then my signature weapon has +1 damage, blows in the presence of bears. I chose also I have dungeon rations by default, and I picked the 22 coins.
Okay. Cool. Awesome.
So I'm clearly rich. Left with
Yes.
my parents' food money.
They gave you lunch money and it was 22 gold.
Yeah,
Okay. Got it.
they were
All right.
rich.
So I think we'll come back to your bonds, but I think that's it for you. Good job. And it looks like everything's filled in roll 20. Awesome. Okay. Seraphina. Stephanie, are you ready?
I am. Jen was actually like more done with her character sheet than I was because I just wasn't even gonna put the gear in. So I'm not going to. So it's fine.
Okay, so
it's
you're a
not really
paladin.
necessary. Hold on one sec. Let me switch the overlay. There we go. I am a paladin.
Okay.
I am. Let me go back to the beginning of this. I am. Oh, I was on Jen's. Sorry, new streamer. Okay, I am good.
Okay.
So
So that means you're gonna want to endanger yourself to protect someone weaker than you.
Yes.
So you. Okay.
I forgot to mention, but too, make sure you guys change your damage roll once you do pick your weapon. So it was D10, but like my weapon it says +1 on damage. So now written up top, I wrote D10 +1. So make sure if your weapon has a higher damage boost or whatever that you change that so it rolls properly. Okay, sorry. So I'm good. That means that I will endanger myself to protect somebody weaker than me. I am a human. So I get the move when you pray for guidance, even for a moment, and ask what here is evil. The GM has to tell me honestly.
Okay.
My armor is +3 from the things that I have to choose from. My my hit points are 26. I'm a tank as well.
Okay.
And then my starting moves, I have Lay on Hands, which is when you touch someone, skin to skin, pray for their well-being, roll plus charisma. On a 10+, you heal 1d8, or remove a disease. On a 7 to 9, they are healed, but the damage or disease is transferred to you. And I assume on the terrible roll, it's like I die or something. Should I read through this whole list?
Give us the synopsis.
Sure.
So we know you don't have to be clumsy with your armor.
What does that mean exactly?
If your armor makes you clumsy, then it just
I
doesn't.
see. Like if it happens.
So don't worry about it. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Then you got I am the law.
I am the law. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. When I give an NPC an order based on my divine authority, I can roll plus the charisma modifier. On a 7 or over, they choose 1. Do what you say, back away cautiously, then flee. Attack me. On a 10+, I also take +1 forward against them. On a miss, they do as they please. And I take -1 forward against them.
Okay.
So can you explain that a little better?
I was gonna put off explaining forward
okay, that's
because
fine.
I'm not really good at it. So let's explain that when we get to
Sure.
to basic moves.
And then I guess I have a quest, but I don't know if we'll really get to that. So we can just. Do I really need to talk about? The
Yeah.
quest?
Did you choose a quest yet?
I was just gonna do it right now. So when I dedicate myself to a mission through prayer and ritual cleansing, state what I set out to do. I set out to discover the truth of my ancestors.
Okay.
I'm gonna choose 2 bonuses, which are senses that pierce lies and a voice that transcends language, which I assume means I can tell when people are lying and I can speak to everyone. And the GM will tell me what vow or vows are required of me to maintain my blessing.
Ooh, okay. So you wanted to you discover the truth of your family history? Is that what you said?
Yes, my
Okay.
ancestors.
Your ancestors. And you are a good human. So in order to maintain your honor, because you can understand lies, you cannot tell a lie. So if you tell a lie, then no, your blessing is gone.
Okay. Deal.
All right. Cool.
And then I am using a longsword and a shield.
Okay.
And that's it. I will describe myself. I have kind eyes. I have no hair. I'm bald, but I am female. I just have a shaved head. I have a fancy
You're bald,
holy.
bald by choice.
Bald
not like
by
you
choice.
You grow hair. You just also remove it.
Just
Is that
imagine
part
the
of
back
your
of my head.
Like your religious order?
It is.
The shaving. So it's like because of vanity?
Yeah.
Is that why? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So when there's like certain like things you can do to your hair when you get to certain levels, but like everybody just shaves their head.
Ah, I see. So because you're a young paladin, you have a shaved head. But if you were like a level 7 paladin, you could maybe have.
I might have like 2 mohawks. Or,
okay, cool.
You know, a
cool.
swivel or something. Spiral. That's the word I was trying to say. Swivel chair. I have a fancy holy symbol and a fit body because I'm actually a pretty big tank.
Nice. What does your holy symbol look like?
My fancy holy symbol is a turquoise mask with feathers on it. That's sitting right here.
Nice. Okay.
Because that's the only thing I can think of.
Do you wear it, or do you like carry it on your back? Do you wear it sometimes?
It's on the shield.
Oh, okay. So it's on the front of your shield. It's like welded to it.
Yeah, like a coat of arms.
Okay. Cool. Tell me about your religion. Do you worship a certain god or a certain ideal?
I worship. I worship Spec Person the Third.
Spec Person the Third.
Spec Person the Third.
It happened. No, I'm just a part of the same order as Spec Person the Third. I'm kidding. I read that in chat.
Don't? Okay.
No, I can. It's the only thing that popped into my head because I read it in chat.
People would love it if
I will worship Spec Person the Third for sure.
Okay, so Spec Person the Third is your benevolent deity?
Yes.
Okay, and Spec Person the Third, does Spec Person require anything specific that we wouldn't know about? You know, generally gods don't want you to lie or steal or blah, blah, blah. Is he any different than that?
I don't really remember. That's just why I didn't want to go with the idea.
You can make it up.
Oh, okay, cool.
I can make it up.
You should make it up because you remember the character more than I do. Spec Person just wants us to refer to him as Spec Person the Third. That's all that he really cares about.
So Spec Person is really strict as a god about using his name in vain. In fact, what I just said was wrong because I should have said Spec Person the Third is very concerned about using Spec Person the Third's name in vain. So you never get to use a pronoun for Spec Person the Third except for Spec Person the Third, if that makes sense. Okay.
It does.
He also really highly values, aside from the general like good versus evil, he's a good god, but he specifically is concerned with in like individual identification, like everyone's right to be an individual, and however you interpret that, you're the paladin. I don't know. I'm not the study, but he's really into that. And he also firmly believes that decisive action may be needed to further good. So when you say you're endangering yourself to protect someone weaker than you, if you feel like somebody is in danger that you need to protect, then decisive action may be needed, and you don't feel like that's evil if you have to kill someone to protect someone. Like
that makes sense. That is, I am good, so endangering myself to protect someone weaker than me is a part of my.
But you never have these moral quandaries about like, oh, should I kill this person? Are they really evil? It's like if they are endangering someone and you feel like you just slice their head off. You're fine with that. It's part of your paladinness. Okay?
I can dig it.
Cool. All right. So now we have gone about an hour.
Sure.
I hate to break before we get into
We introduced everyone's characters, so it's not a bad place to stop, I think.
Okay, well, let's take a really quick break. And I'm specifically going to make sure I understand carrying forward and all of that. And then we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Sounds good. Stay tuned, everybody.